we're not given to violence. We're very peaceful people. We believe that if we set examples, people will learn from it. Those are the examples we're trying to set.
So far, so good. If it is what I've seen here, it's okay. The turnout is impressive. Here in particular, people conduct themselves in a civil and civilized way.
President Muhammadu Buhari is appealing to Nigerians from all walks of life to recommit themselves to the nation and subsume their personal and sectional interests to the overall national aspiration of unity, economic prosperity and good governance. He said there obvious differences notwithstanding, everyone must strive to guard against actions and utterances capable of undermining the nation's democratic framework. The president was speaking in Kaduna at the combined passing out parade of the 67 regular course and 46 Army Short Service course of the Nigerian Defense Academy. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details of this.
The challenges associated with the COVID-19 pandemic notwithstanding, the Nigerian Defense Academy remained unwavering in its commitment to the execution of its core mandate of training young Nigerians for the armed forces to effectively protect and defend the nation's territorial integrity. Consequently, 793 cadets for both regular and short service courses passed out of the military institution, having adjudged to be of good character, academically sound, unquestionably loyal, and most importantly, courageous in the face of danger. President Muhammadu Buhari, as a reviewing officer and indeed a retired general, described as encouraging the excellent work invested in the training of the officer cadets for service to the nation and humanity.
Let me now remind the passing out cadets of the need to be committed to the nation by taking your rightful place among your peers in the armed forces of our country. With the quality of training you have received, I am convinced that you will discharge your duties professionally and responsibly. I can say without ambiguity that the future holds promise for our national defense and security.
The president used the opportunity to commend the resilience and steadfastness of the armed forces personnel for their professionalism and bravery in tackling the menace of terrorism, insurgency, armed banditry, hardest farmers conflict, kidnapping, piracy, and other acts of criminality in the country.
We remain committed to ending the security challenges bedeviling the country. The federal government will sustain the provision of adequate modern equipment, logistics, and infrastructure needed to support the operations of the armed forces. The loyalty and patriotism displayed by our service personnel must be sustained and strengthened. To my other compatriots, I want to use this forum to appeal to our sense of patriotism.
During the ceremony, the young graduating officers who distinguished themselves during the training session were given awards, with I.O. Salami and M.B. Abdullahi carting home the swords of honor as best all-round cadets for both regular and short service courses respectively.
I, Muhammadu Buhari,
and the young officers were formally commissioned and decorated with their new ranks of second lieutenant for the Army, sub-lieutenant for the Navy, and pilot officers for the Air Force. President Muhammadu Buhari also administered the oath of office on the newly commissioned officers. With its motto, loyalty and valor, the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, established in 1964, has so far graduated over 20,000 officers, including 478 from 9 sister African countries. From Kaduna, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And several armed bandits have been neutralized in airstrikes executed by the air component of Operation Hadarin Daji at a location west of Wagani in Katsina State. The air interdiction mission was conducted employing a force package of Nigerian Air Force fighter jets and helicopter gunships after credible human intelligence reports and series of confirmatory surveillance mission had shown significant presence of the bandits, along with hundreds of rustled cattle in the camp. And the attack aircraft subsequently engaged the location in successive runs, destroying portions of the camp and neutralizing some of the bandits. Fixing the power sector to stimulate growth and development of Nigeria remains on the priority list of the federal government in 2021, with 198 billion naira earmarked for capital projects. Joshua Ojitsu reports on highlights of 2021 budget estimate for the power sector.
Tagged Budget of Economic Recovery and Resilience, power is among three sectors with highest capital votes. The 2021 budgetary allocation is 71 billion naira higher than that of 2020. The plan is to complete ongoing projects. Other key projects captured in the 2021 budget include implementation of rural electrification projects in all states of the Federation and the FCT, as well as federal universities. Work on the Mambila, Zungeru hydropower plants and Kaduna gas power plant are also to be sustained in 2021 as provisions have been made to offset debts owed to local contractors, pay compensation and resettle affected communities. More transmission lines and substations are to be constructed nationwide, in addition to renewable energy initiative expected to facilitate availability of electricity.
Electricity is at the heart of industrialization. It's at the heart of job creation. And so power sector has the capacity to address virtually everything. So it's at the nucleus of sustainable growth and development. I must commend Mr. President and we must encourage him.
While service-based reflective electricity tariff is one of government's fiscal strategies in 2021 to address revenue leakages and redirect scarce resources to the poor and vulnerable, federal government is optimistic that the new electricity tariff will resolve liquidity crisis in the power sector and makes it attractive to foreign investment. Power sector recovery program being implemented by the Presidential Power Initiative is driving the reforms in the sector. Expectations are high among electricity customers that the interventions in the new year will translate to improved power supply in the country. In Abuja, Joshua Ojitsu, NTA News.
On infrastructure, protection of Nigerians' water resources, both surface and underground, helping to develop and conserve and manage them in achieving the sustainable development goals, among other benefits, is what the National Water Resources Bill 2020 seeks to ensure. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu clarified this in a meeting with news editor of media outfits with a target of giving a right education surrounding the bill. Details with Olusheye Adiagbo.
Serious attention is being challenged towards the National Water Resources Bill 2020, and the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, believes that meeting with key actors in the water sector and briefing them on the gains of the bill when passed into law is critical. For him, this meeting with members of the fourth estate of the realm will also help enlighten Nigerians on the importance of the bill, regardless of political, tribal or religious views.
That is not saying we are privatizing. There is no privatization. We are saying public-private partnership. Partnering with the private sector so that we take advantage of some of their expertise and work with our own. These water schemes are government-owned. Water cannot be privatized, but we need to improve the efficiency because water is an economic commodity which must be paid for.
Joined with the leadership of the Ministry of Water Resources, the discussions also highlighted how the continuous engagement will help overcome challenges hindering the process of the bill.
We would plead with you that even after now, the reportage of the bill would be correct and appropriate.
Editors welcomed the initiative, expressing optimism that the Water Resources Bill 2020 will eventually become law.
The government needs to engage more stakeholders on the water bill. There are many merits in the bill than what the public is made to believe.
So it makes sense that Nigerians should take a look at this bill and cooperate with the government to ensure that the bill is passed.
Hard copies of the existing water laws in Nigeria, which makes up over 95% of the whole bill, were made available to the media. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Now, when the tentacles of the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons is spread to all nooks and crannies of the country, it will help in speeding up the actualization of the agency's mandate. Chairman, Bayelsa State Traditional Rulers Council, Alfred Papapriye Dete Spiv Siri Yali II made the assertion in a meeting with top management staff of NAPTIP in Abuja. Adebola Brookson Sunday was there.
Established in July 2003 by the Trafficking in Persons Enforcement and Administration Act, 17 years after, the agency has been able to spread to 12 states of the Federation. In a bid to expand its presence nationwide, the organization has been reaching out to state governments. The traditional ruler who expressed displeasure over the activities of human traffickers said it is a threatening phenomenon that requires joint efforts, and thereafter he donated an office complex to the agency for the takeoff of its Bayelsa State Command, which will bring NAPTIP's presence in states to 13.
When they come back, you can teach them to become mushroom producers. Mushroom is a versatile and most prolific form of agriculture, white agrarian revolution.
The Director General, Julie Okadonli, described the donation as a great motivation in the federal government's response to the fight against human trafficking, with advocacy on other states' governments to emulate the gesture.
We have trained counselors. When the victims arrive at the shelter, they give them psychosocial support. They also give them medical support. Some of them want to have skill acquisition, some of them want to go back to school. I usually encourage them to go back to formal education.
NAPTIP is currently setting up task forces on human trafficking in states across the country towards flattening the curve of the menace. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
And in other stories, the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Abi Thakur, has acknowledged the strive by the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) in helping to keep the unity of Nigeria and showcasing the rich cultural heritage of the country to the outside world. He was speaking when he visited the Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, where issues of cooperation between Nigeria and India featured prominently. The report.
Nigeria and India have several commonalities. Apart from being members of the Commonwealth of Nations, they established diplomatic relations in the early 60s. Since then, both countries have remained strong trading partners, as well as having cooperation in military training, education, technology, and healthcare. How to keep that relationship going and expand in other areas is what the Indian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Abe Thakur, is excited about, describing the NTA as an important agency in achieving that goal, saying its efforts in helping to shape a positive image for the country in its news and programs are commendable.
Africa is a focus area for us, and within Africa, one of the best relationships that we have is with Nigeria. We've had high-level exchanges despite the COVID pandemic. Our foreign ministers have been speaking regularly. Our trade ministers are in contact. We've had a large number of business meetings between each other's countries.
Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, welcomed any cooperation that will further cement the long-standing relationship between both countries, particularly in cultural exchange programs and capacity building.
Agents of government, we are one public broadcaster, and it is our responsibility the foster relations between Nigeria and other friendly nations like India. So this basically, the High Commission is something that levels our heart.
The visit is part of the Indian High Commissioner's advocacy tour of key agencies strategic to oiling the relations between India and Nigeria. In Abuja, Kelvin Awonwaye, NTA News.
This is the news at 7 on NTA International. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying tuned with the news at 7. Now, space science and technology has proven to be a critical driving force in revolutionizing the world amidst the dreaded coronavirus pandemic. Nigerians should therefore take advantage of the innovation to utilize space technology and the byproducts to make significant stride in optimizing resources for national security and socio-economic development of the country. This came to the fore at the 2020 National Space Research and Development Agency Distinguished Lecture in Abuja. Adebola Brooks-Sunday reports.
The crisis caused by the novel coronavirus has no doubt created disruptions across the globe, with each sector of the economy impacted in different ways, with strict lockdown policies being imposed across cities and countries. While the COVID-19 pandemic paralyzed society and life, satellite became an essential part of critical infrastructure needed to safeguard societies during the period where manpower is severely reduced.
The pandemic has highlighted the need for the cohesive digital ecosystem and the urgency of ensuring connectivity everywhere, anywhere, to protect, inform, and support people.
Key players in the space technology industry say, just like in the past when satellite data was used to predict the outbreak of cholera, the technology is developing a model that will help predict where any pandemic is likely to emerge and its impact on communities.
Our challenge is to save lives today while buttressing the pillars of security for tomorrow. With satellites, all these are visible.
The provision of direct connectivity, which is keeping millions online while in isolation or at home, teleeducation, monitoring changes on Earth through Earth observation data, as well as enabling telehealth solutions and e-governance are some of the interventions provided by the technology. Adebola Brooks-Sunday, NTA News.
Now, Africa needs $1.2 trillion over the next 3 years to recover from the damages caused by the coronavirus pandemic. We now join Uche Ugochukwu. Details and more updates on the global scourge.
The International Monetary Fund said it will cost the African continent that much over the next 3 years to tackle the economic and health damages caused by the coronavirus pandemic. IMF Chief Kristalina Georgieva said the world must do more to support Africa to recover from the crisis. Although Africa has had fewer COVID-19 infections and deaths than most other continents, the World Bank says 43 million more Africans are at risk of extreme poverty as a result of the pandemic. Meanwhile, 1,292,000 640 positive cases on the African continent have recovered. Africa is left with 226,188 active cases from the total 1,556,459 infections recorded on the coronavirus in Africa tracker. Nigeria accounts for 59,992 confirmed cases, having recorded 151 new cases on Friday from 9 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Elsewhere, top U.S. virus expert Dr. Anthony Fauci has criticized the White House for hosting a gathering last month, which has been linked to an outbreak of COVID-19. At least 11 people who attended the event tested positive, and President Trump is himself recovering from COVID-19. In a similar vein, countries with surge in the virus have continued to review measures. Iran extended partial lockdown imposed in its capital, Tehran, a week ago till October 16th and set new penalties for defaulters. The global tally for confirmed infections shown on Worldometer coronavirus dashboard as at 6 p.m. Nigerian time is 37,237,551 and 1,074,344 fatalities. That is it from here. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
The fight against menace of substandard and falsified medical products due to diversion will no longer be a daunting task in Nigeria, as the country has launched its national pharmaceutical traceability strategy that will also improve the regulatory control of the medicine supply chain. Minister of Health Dr. Osagi Henry inaugurated the steering committee for its implementation. Hamman Jabani, what's there?
The Nigerian Pharmaceutical Traceability Strategy will help regulatory agencies and donor institutions to quickly identify falsified medicines and prevent diversion from the distribution chain. It will also contribute to strengthening the existing regulatory and legal framework required to publish and enforce a traceability regulation and related guidelines. The document is the first step in positioning Nigeria to be a leader in driving traceability of pharmaceuticals in Africa.
The launch of the Nigeria Pharmaceutical Traceability Strategy today demonstrates the commitment of the federal government of Nigeria to improving access to quality medicines and other health commodities in line with the second National Strategic Development Plan.
Effective implementation of the strategies aligned in this document will no doubt go a long way in ensuring efficient and effective management of drugs in the public and private sectors.
As part of the implementation of the traceability strategy, NAFDAC has developed a 5-year traceability plan towards achieving supply chain visibility, which will strengthen pharmacovigilance and post-marketing activities against the scourge of substandard and falsified medicines and medical devices by the year 2024.
The agency has also established Traceability Office or Traceability Desk and a technical working group to drive the activities in the 5-year plan.
Nigeria is the second country in Africa to launch the pharmaceutical feasibility strategy after Ethiopia. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
And to support government's plan to improve universal basic education in the Federal Capital Territory, Rotary Club of Abuja has donated an e-library to Junior Secondary School POA, also trained 20 teachers on e-learning. Hamman Jabani again has this report.
Blessing Onoja is the head girl of Junior Secondary School POA, which got a library equipped with e-learning facility, and Adoga Haruna is among the 20 teachers receiving training on e-learning.
We are very happy and we are appreciating them for what they did for us. And we promise them that for the opportunity they have given us, promise them that we will use it well.
It's just a way forward for the teachers and the students.
Rotary Club Abuja believes that enhancing basic literacy is key to educational development, hence the provision of library, renovation of 4 classroom blocks, and training of 20 teachers from 20 secondary schools on the use of e-learning facility in the COVID-19 era.
E-learning, the use of technology, has become a very intricate part of the way we learn these days. And it will be a disability to have students who do not have e-learning knowledge or capacity.
We believe as Rotarians that the impact will be felt, and these children will be able to learn faster and easier.
Chairman FCT Basic Education Board, who was represented, commended Rotary Corp for the donation and called on other organizations to contribute towards the educational development of the country.
You have added your name in a very colorful way, and we cannot thank you enough for this venture that you have taken upon yourselves. Rotary Club, we have known you to really been doing very well, and we pray that you even do more than what you are doing.
My motive is want to help the children best. I'm very passionate about this teaching job. Want to help the children best has always been my ambition, and I know that with this donation it will go a long way.
A plea was made for the fencing of the school. Haman Jabani, NTA News.
Many thanks, Haman, and that concludes the news at 7. I'm Comfort. I'm Modu. Remember to stand with the NTA against rape and rapists. Good evening.